So I'm going to be talking about casinos and blackjack and table games and craps and roulette because that's what I've been doing for the past 14 years, and I have a pretty good understanding about how it all works. So let's start with blackjack. A lot of people think that the main goal of blackjack is to get to 21 without going over, which, yeah, that helps. But a lot of it has to do with what the dealer's up card is. So everybody gets two cards, including the dealer. The player's cards are face up, and the dealers, they have one face down and one face up. And you try to, and depending on what that one up card is, will depend on what you do with your hand. Tens, jacks, queens, and kings are all worth 10. Aces are worth 1 or 11, and everything else is worth their value. Twos are twos, threes are threes, so on and so forth. And so, there's a few different things you can do. You can either hit on your hand, you can stay, you can split if you have two cards of equal value. So if you have like two sevens, you can split them and play two hands, or you can double down, which doubling down generally people do on 9, 10, or 11. You can double your bet, get one card, and hopefully it's a 10 and you get 19, 20, 21. So first off, when the dealer's showing a 7, 8, 9, 10, or an ace, if they're showing one of those 5 cards, generally people will want to hit until they get to a 17 or higher, just because that's what the basic strategy tells you to do. Once you get to 17, you kind of want to stay, because that's what the dealer does. And so yeah, if you have 12 and the dealer's showing an 8, you want to take a hit, take a card, and try to get to as close to 21 as you can. Now, say you're showing a 12 and the dealer's showing a 6, you want to stay because you don't want to take the chance of taking the dealer's bust card. And so basic strategy will tell you that odds are, if the dealer's showing a 6, that's their best chance to bust, and the table will win, hopefully. It doesn't always go according to plan. But yeah, if you also have like ace, 2 8s, the strategy will tell you to split those no matter what the dealer has. Whether the dealer's showing a ace, 10, 6, 2, because first off, 16, it's not a great hand, and if you can split them and get 2 18s, great. So yeah, you can split things of equal value depending on what the dealer has. If the dealer's showing 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, those are generally bust cards. And that's when, if you have 12 or higher, you don't want to take a hit because, like I said, you don't want to take the chance of taking a dealer's bust card. Aces, you always want to split according to the strategy. And with aces, they count as 1 or 11. So if you hit and get a 10, then you're stuck with 12. But if you split them and get that 10 on one of them, that's a 21. And you get one card on each ace, and you just hope they're 10s for 2 hands of 21. And if the dealer's showing a bust card, then that's a great time to split anything besides 10s. You never want to split 2 10s because you have 20, and that's just the second best hand you can have. So generally you see it a lot. People split 10s more often than they should. And generally it works out for him because that's just how the luck goes. So yeah, aces are considered 1 or 11. If you get a 10 and an ace in your first 2 cards out of the shoe, is what we call it, then that's called a blackjack, and it's an automatic win. And blackjacks pay 3 to 2, which means if you have $10, which means 3 to 2 means you get paid what you have bet plus half. So if you have a $10 bet, get a blackjack, you get paid $15. $20 bet, you get paid 30. Yeah, you know math. And there are times when you'll get a blackjack and the dealer will flip up a 10, and then they check their undercard to see if they have blackjack. And if they do, you just push, which means you don't win, you don't lose. You just keep your money. If they're showing an ace, they'll offer you even money if you have a blackjack, which means if you have $10 bet, they're going to offer you even money, which you can take a guaranteed $10, or you can gamble for that 3 to 2. Now, generally what I tell people is if the casino offers you something, it is in their favor. So generally you don't want to take even money. You want to gamble for your 3 to 2 odds. Depending on what you have bet, sometimes when people have, $50, $75, $100 bet and I offer them even money, that's a guaranteed win, But, people are there to gamble and they'll say, no, I don't want it. If the dealer does have blackjack, like I said, you just push. Also, if the dealer's showing an ace, they will offer you they'll offer the other players insurance if they don't have 21, which is kind of a side bet whether you think the dealer has blackjack or not. Insurance is half your bet. So you make another wager, which is half of your bet. Say you have $10 bet. You want to buy insurance, so it would be for $5. The dealer doesn't have blackjack, you lose that $5 insurance bet. If the dealer does have blackjack, you lose your $10 wager, but insurance pays 2 to 1, so that you lose your $10, but you get paid $10. So you break even. You basically keep your money if you buy insurance and the dealer has blackjack. Many other certain things to do in blackjack. Like I said, you never want to split 20s with 2 10s. And it depends on what the dealer's showing, for what you're going to do. If you have a 14 and the dealer's showing a 7, the strategy would tell you to take a hit and try to get to at least 17 or higher, but there's a chance you might bust. If you have a 14 and the dealer's showing a 4, you're going to want to stay because you don't want to take the dealer's bust card. Now, this is all, basic strategy played out over thousands and thousands of hands, and that's just the general rule of thumb that a lot of people abide by. And yeah, like I said, that's blackjack. Another game I deal is called 4-card poker, which is poker hands. You're playing a poker game just against the dealer. You're not playing against the other players at the table. In 4-card poker, you get 5 cards to play your best 4-card hand. And the trick is, the house advantage is the dealer gets 6 cards to play their best 4-card hand. Yeah, I know, totally unfair. I hear it all the time. The advantage that the player has on this game is that if they get something good like a straight or a flush in 4 cards for best 4 out of 5, then they have the option to triple their ante on the back. So if you have a $5 ante bet, you can bet 15 on the back. And there's another side bet called Aces Up, which that you're just playing against the odds of the game. And you win on that if you get a pair of aces or better in your 5 cards. Still playing your best 4, but... And there's a progressive bet where if you do get all 5 cards, say if you get a 5-card flush, you get paid extra. Pair of aces pays you 1 to 1. 2 pair pays you 2 to 1. A straight will pay you 5 to 1. A flush will pay you 6 to 1. 3 of a kind will pay you 7 to 1. And the reason 3 of a kind is better than a straight and a flush in this game is because you're just playing, you're playing only 4 cards. 4 out of 5. So trips is a pretty good hand in that game. And then a straight flush pays you 30 to 1, and a 4 of a kind pays you 50 to 1. And yeah, some of those aren't, you know, a winning hand in regular poker, but this is a table game. Odds are a little different. And then you got 3-card poker, which is just the player's 3 cards against the dealer's 3 cards. Dealer needs a queen or better to qualify. And once again, on this table, there's your pair plus, which is you're playing just against the odds. And if you get a pair or better, you get paid on that. Ante in play, that's when you're playing against the dealer. And if, excuse me, if the dealer doesn't have a queen or better, they don't qualify. So you get an automatic win on your ante, and your play is just a push, which means you don't win, you don't lose. And then depending on if you have a pair or better on your pair plus, pay you accordingly. Any pair is 1 to 1. A flush is 4 to 1. A straight is 6 to 1. 3 of a kind is 30 to 1. And then a straight flush is 40 to 1. Straight flush is 4, 5, 6 of hearts, 10 jack, queen of spades, you know, as long as they're in order and the same suit. That's what a straight flush is considered. Then you have a game called Ultimate Texas Hold'em, which is another poker game. It's Texas Hold'em, but you're just playing against the dealer. And this game, it's called trips or better. And so if you get paid on that, if you get 3 of a kind or better. Everybody gets 2 whole cards is what they're called, and the dealer gets 2 whole cards, and then he puts out on a community flop, which everybody plays their 2 cards plus those 3. You can check or bet, and then you burn a card and make the turn. Everybody can check or bet, then you burn another card, and you flip over the river. So everybody has 5 community cards plus their 2 whole cards. And that, same with any other game, goes from a pair, 2 pair, 3 of a kind, full house, no, I'm sorry, pair, 2 pair, 3 of a kind, straight, flush, full house, 4 of a kind, straight flush. Those are the ranking hands, which you don't, anything above a flush you don't see very often. It's fun when you do because people get all excited and everything. Then you have this game called Roulette, which is the wheel, red or black, and you got 2 zeros, 2 0 bets. There's really no strategy to this. People think there is, there's not. You can bet on red or black, pays you 1 to 1, odd or even, 1 to 1. But when you bet on certain numbers, that's when you get paid more. If you hit a straight up number, it'll pay you 35 to 1. Then you can split 2 numbers, and that pays you 17 to 1. You can bet on a corner, which is betting 4 numbers, and that pays you 8 to 1. And then there's like certain other bets. People think that the 0 and 00 will pay you more because there's only one of them, but it still pays the exact same odds. And then there's column bets, which you're playing the whole row of numbers, which pays you 2 to 1 because you're only betting on a third of the board. And there's first 12, second 12, third 12, which also pay you 2 to 1. You're just betting 1 through 12, 13 through 24, 25 through 36. And that is how roulette is played.